A man-made plague sweeps across the world with surgical cruelty. It targets only women. By the time it burns itself out, nearly every woman on Earth is gone. Men are untouched. Civilization survives, but it is warped beyond recognition. Women, once half the population, become legends. Survivors are no longer protected or revered. They are hunted. Caleb loses his wife to the plague. His daughter, however, lives. She is part of the impossible 1%. From that moment on, Caleb stops being a father in the ordinary sense. He becomes a guardian, a liar, a shadow. He cuts his daughter's hair, dresses her in loose clothes, teaches her to lower her eyes and answer to a boy's name. To the world, she is his son. They never stay in one place. Forest to forest, trail to trail, sleeping wherever night finds them. Each morning, they move again. One day, deep in the woods, they meet an old man. He seems harmless, too talkative, too curious. His eyes linger on the child. He asks questions that don't need answers. As he leaves, he smiles faintly and says, almost to himself, that Caleb's son looks fragile. The word lands like a threat. That night, Caleb changes direction. They find shelter in an abandoned house hidden among the trees. It feels wrong to be comfortable, and yet it is. There's a bed, toys left behind by children long gone, even running water. His daughter laughs for the first time in weeks. Against his instincts, Caleb lets them stay. While his daughter plays, Caleb studies the house. He measures walls, breaks floorboards, opens passages that shouldn't exist. By the second night, there are multiple ways out, none of them obvious. But safety costs supplies. Caleb goes into town alone, keeping his head down as he waits in line for rations. The man distributing food makes idle conversation. He talks about how rare children have become, about rumors from the United States, labs trying to engineer artificial girls, desperate to fix what the world has broken. Caleb nods, says nothing, and leaves too quickly. The next morning, coffee shakes in his hand as he reads old newspapers. Then he sees them, men outside the window, watching, waiting. They followed him from town. Caleb doesn't hesitate. The instant the door splinters, he's already gone. His daughter pulled through a hidden exit as the house fills with shouting. They don't stop running until night. With nowhere left to hide, Caleb decides to gamble on memory. His grandmother's house, high in the mountains, isolated, forgotten, but it's far, farther than his daughter can walk. They hitch a ride. The driver is young, friendly, proud of the group he belongs to. Over a long stretch of road, he talks too much. About their numbers, their resources, about the women they keep locked underground. They're safe, he says. We feed them. Caleb waits for a bend in the road. He waits for the moment the young man looks away. Then he acts. The car disappears down the mountain road, leaving the driver behind with nothing but his words. Snow replaces dirt. Roads disappear into rock and ice. They climb, slip, bleed, endure. When they finally reach the old house, it stands exactly as Caleb remembers, but they are not alone. Inside, 3 elderly figures sit by the fire. They say the place was empty when they found it years ago. They offer food and shelter without questions. Casey introduces Rag as his son, Alex. For the first time in a long while, the danger feels distant. They prepare for emergencies anyway, hiding a go bag in a nearby shed. Still, the days pass quietly. Rag laughs. She plays. Tom shows her how to build a snowman, tells her stories about hunting in the world before. Casey watches her carefully, torn between relief and fear. Then one day, Tom asks the question Casey has dreaded, if Rag is really his daughter. Casey denies it, but Tom already knows. He doesn't threaten. He only explains that he lost everyone too. After a long silence, Casey tells the truth. Rag's real name, the photo, the reason he keeps going. Tom understands. That night, Tom talks about rumors, safe places, communities in New York where women are protected. Casey admits he's heard them, but doesn't trust hope anymore. Faith, in people or God, has long since slipped through his fingers. Still, that night, as Rag calls him over and they trade stories in the dark, peace settles in for the first time in years. It doesn't last. The next morning, men approach the house again. When Casey asks Calvin who they are, Calvin shuts the door without answering. The betrayal is instant and clear. Casey hides Rag in the attic and helps her out through a window. The drop is high. He doesn't want to let go. Rag tells him she can do this. It's the moment Casey realizes he still sees her as fragile, even now. The house erupts into violence. Casey fights desperately, killing one man with a hammer, another with sheer force and will. But when he reaches the lower floor, Tom and Lemmy are already dead. As Casey tries to escape, another attacker ambushes him. The fight is savage and uneven. Casey is losing. Then the shot rings out. Rag stands there with a rifle Tom once showed her how to use. She saves his life. Casey collapses from his wounds. When he wakes, Rag is gone, and panic grips him, until he sees her dragging a sled piled with food and supplies. Pride and relief crash over him at once. She cleans his wound, feeds him, stays beside him without fear. Later, Casey tells her again about the rumored safe place. His voice breaks. He doesn't know how long he can protect her. Rag hugs him and tells him she's not alone anymore, and neither is he. In a world that has taken everything, they are still standing, together, and that's how the story ends. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos.